Alright, and welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. What we got here is a buttonwood tree. This is a tree, it's native to Florida. I guess it actually naturally grows along the beaches along the Keys. If you look up bonsai buttonwood, you'll find a bunch that have, first off really big trunks, and then usually it'll be half dead with, you'll have half of it coming off with some life and half of it dead, kind of like they can do with some of the evergreens and stuff with the bonsai up north, which we can't really grow down here. I mean, we can, but it's not really made for it. If you find good ones, if you find big ones with some dead wood, they're usually, they can be worth thousands, but usually, they're charging in the couple $100 range. I'd always wanted one to just kind of fiddle around with. I thought that maybe I'd try to, pack up a shovel and some pots and some soil and go hunting for it one day. I don't think they're that common over here on the West Coast to actually find in the wild. You see a silver buttonwood for sale a lot for like people's yards and stuff, but they're not as popular for bonsai. You can use it that way, but I picked this up for 25 bucks in February, and I figured I'd just kind of wire it up and actually here's the other side from February. But I figured I'd just kind of use it as a tree just to kind of play around with, wire it up, see what it looks like. I do understand the cuttings take really well and it grows very quickly down here. So I'm just going to go ahead and rewire it. I've never had one before. I mean, I can't believe I'm going to wire it right now on camera, but you can see, I sometimes it is so hard for me to tell exactly what you guys can see because I can barely see the camera, but it's got a little movement coming out. It's just straight, but it's coming off to the side there, and then it comes off here with a big main branch that's pretty much straight. And I don't, again, this is my first time. There's a little flex in there, but I don't think I'll get much more actual movement out of that, maybe towards here at the end. All the branches coming off of it are really flexible except for this one, which is just about the size of a pencil. So you can see, this one's a little less than a pencil, and I can get some good bending out of that. This one's right around a pencil, and it's just pretty solid there. So I'm going to wire what I can. There is a second little trunk that comes off here. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little branches coming off of it, but they're all only about that long. I'll probably just leave that alone, and then maybe, whenever I go to take the wire off of this side, maybe this one will be growing out enough for it, and I'll put some on then. I am going to kind of take out some of the branches I don't want. There's one coming down right there, and there is one coming right up out of the crotch of that top right there, and then one out of the, I guess no matter how that goes, that'll be the top, so I'm going to take that one off too. And then I'm going to get my slightly bigger cutters for this one. This long one, before I start wiring it, I am going to take, I guess I'll try to see if I can get it to where you guys can see what I'm doing, but there's about 4 or 5 that are just pointing straight up off of it. And so I'll go ahead and just take those off. And one coming out of the crotch there. I got that little one on top. And later, if I remember, there's a little tiny bloom. They're not really noticeable if you were walking by, but if you're sitting here, obviously with it right here in your face, you can see it. I'll try to remember to get a good angle on that later and show you where the bloom is. Now, I have been trying to watch a few videos, just trying to learn to see what I might do when I go to wire this guy or whatever. They defoliate pretty easy in that, the leaves are pretty brittle, and as soon as you just kind of go both ways with them, they'll come right off. I don't think I really need, I don't really know if I really need to wire all the way out to the end. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of defoliate as I need it, as I go with the wire, and just see how that goes. If I find it's too much in the way, I might just stop and go ahead and defoliate some. Actually, right now, just because I'm here and I'm talking, I did this yesterday. As soon as I say I'm not going to do something, I start doing it. just going to take off some of the lower leaves and just leaving the growing tips and 4 or 5 sets of leaves there. Just basically because I've got a handful of leaves right now, and while I'm cleaning them up, I might as well just go ahead and do some of it. Did notice this big main branch up here, it's already got some little sub branches coming off of it. And because it is getting quite a bit, you know, noticeably thicker, you probably really can't see it in the picture, but I can tell in person. I don't, even though I plan on just like taking a bunch of cuttings from this, I don't really want a bunch of long straight cuttings. So even if I kind of don't really do the greatest job of wiring and it doesn't really look all that great, at least I'll have a bunch of cuttings with a little bit of movement to them so they're not just boring straight cuttings. And just another couple little handful of leaves here, and I think I'll be ready to go ahead and start wiring some. I think that'll be good. Alright, you learn something new every day, and apparently I just learned that this camera does not give any warning when the memory card is full. It just stops recording, and then after 2 or 3 minutes it beeps and lets me know that it's going into camera saving or battery saving mode. You guys just missed me wiring up the first couple branches, but I am working my way up. And boy, it really is. Sometimes when you get off your game there, it throws you off there. I had to take and eliminate a bunch of the pictures of the videos on the camera and make some room. So it's been a little while since I was going. That should be about far enough. And these last two up here, they really are like the main parts. They are a lot thicker. So I didn't wire the main branch up because it's already lignified and I don't really have anything to wire to. But you know, these two are kind of the main branch split, so just switched to a little bit of heavier wire to do these two. And there's another branch that I was planning on taking out there, this one too. Alright, and that's about it. Get some early movement in it so that when I, it's not just a bunch of straight poles, even if I just go to take cuttings from the tree or whatever. But usually I'll wire everything and then do my bending and see how it turned out. There are I guess almost 4 branches on this main one where it's split into kind of almost 3 main ones actually, but that I might wire up. I'm just going to see what it looks like after I get the main ones bent. So I'm going to go ahead. There's these 2 really small ones down here. I talked to them about them a little bit and trying to get some movement in them and early and everything. And that was when the camera was off. Kind of hate when that happened too, because I was I was in the middle of putting this on. It's actually one of those times where I felt like I was doing pretty good talking and working at the same time, and then all of a sudden I realized the camera wasn't even going. And then this guy here. And this guy. Now this is the thickest one, so I don't want to say thickest in that it's starting to get a little lignified. I don't want to push my luck with it too much. And so I won't find the need to wire them up there. I'll let them just kind of grow and see what happens from there. But it looks a lot better than when I started. At least it's not just it just doesn't have that where it was just reaching up for the sky. I mean, it's not a ficus, but what I mean is it just isn't all the branches coming straight up like that or whatever. It isn't a ficus, but it's got that kind of a habit or whatever. And then just to end things here, I told you guys I'd try to see if I could give you a view of the little blooms that they get. And there's the blooms, or what's left of them. I think that they are a little bit whiter at some point. I think that there might be actually turning into a bit of a seed pod. That's why it's got the green look there. But that's why I chose to leave it. And plus, as I kind of just back the camera up here a little bit, you can see that that's like a broken off part. They probably actually pruned that when they had this in the smaller pot. And then when they repotted it, they pruned it just to make it a little smaller to handle, kind of like I do when I do my repotting and everything. But